Lesson 4.4 Thinking and New Services. Big corporations can really on a better capacity for analysis, backed by dedicated resource organizations. As they consolidate their position in their respective markets, where they already produce winning goods and services. They are choosing to diversify their operation into business areas that are often related or interconnectable, but in some cases completely remote for their traditional mission. Far from concentrating solely on an efficiency of internal production processes, dynamic enterprises instead seek to understand market and the business development opportunities unlocked by the digital transformation of society. They are investing enormous resources in the cutting-edge areas of data analysis, machine learning, and artificial intelligence in an effort to understand individual and social behavior and identify the most important trends. Drawing on a deeper understanding of all new forms of demand, governed by the surge in digital interaction and are expressing themselves. They are developing new products and expanding into emerging sectors in their business area with specific services to expand their value chains in direction that 1. Unwind in the same sector by building on or abandoning the brand name. 2. Branch out into new and different sectors from the traditional segment. The panorama of examples of enterprise determined to make inroads in this direction for growth is vast and differentiated, especially at the international level. Without intending to go into a survey of individual cases, it's worthwhile reflecting on the most significant and in way emblematic approach that characterize the most dynamic industrial players attuned to the digital transition phases. A paradigmatic example of such approach is provided by traditional car makers, which are now repositioning themselves on the market by proposing mobility service and solutions that include the experiences of manufacturing companies which, without turning their backs on their traditional operation, are diversifying their business by creating special units to grasp trends in market demand which are not covered by their traditional products. Whereas in the past the car market was built solidly on customer segmentation, which for decades underpinned the marketing strategies of car makers. Now it's focusing more and more on individual users and their very different and articulated demands. People today want to own a car while at the same time wanting the possibility of composite, plurimodal and intermodal solution to mobility that encompass not only different means of transport, car, public transport, train, bicycle, but also different ways of using the one's means of transport, as in the case of cars, where free-floating car sharing or stationary car sharing or car rental. Daimler AG, a German manufacturer of automobiles and military and civilian vehicles, for instance, has expanded its business in the mobility sector with the Car2Go service in various European and American cities. Car2Go is a free-floating car-sharing service when users can pick up and drop off cars anywhere in the urban area. While the process of diversifying within one's traditional sector, backed by the coverage of an established brand name or coordinate brand names, it seems obvious, another approach being witnessed is to abandon the use of an established brand name to enter new markets full of new opportunities for one's business. That is the case of PSA Group, Peugeot, Citroën, DS, Opel, etc., which has priced its way into the United States market not through the sales of its group cars, but with Free to Move, a mobility sharing service that brings together intermodal transport solutions to cover and meet different needs: car, scooters, and bicycles. Recently introduced in some European cities, PSA is now expanding the project with additional services, underscoring how mobility today is increasingly less about the sale of the products that this corporation traditionally manufactured. Developed with the stated goal of becoming the leading worldwide provider of mobility service by 2030, the new service include 1. Free Move Lease, offering multi-mark complete packaging deals on long-term car rentals, car use, tax charges, insurance coverage, maintenance, etc. 2. Free Move Connect Fleet, for the coordinated management of the interconnected car fleet to save money. 3. Free Move Fleet Sharing, a car sharing program for users who own cars and are keen to reduce their traveling costs. Such examples are different but still tied to digital opportunities and are epistomized by enterprises that, without leaving their specific production sector, invest heavily in access to data on user behavior, both to fine-tune their production strategies and to revolutionize the production of marketing models of their products. Specific examples of this can be seen in sports equipment manufacturers. Their story bears witness to a determination to innovate in extremely original ways, shattering the traditional molds of manufacturing and reaching out into new fields beyond the manufacture of products that are fertile ground for business opportunities. One of the more striking cases in this sense is that of Adidas. While continuing to manufacture sportswear and shoes, it has invested 240 million to buy the smartphone app Rantastic, acquiring with a community of around 70 million users. If Adidas has seen the opportunities of Industry 4.0 strictly in production terms, it would have invested solely in innovation in production processes and materials, while its research and development division is unboundedly studying new mixes of materials for soles and active components, and adopting new layers and technical fabrics for the next generation of its shoes. The acquisition of Rantastic is a strategic move to open a new window on the world outside of manufacturing and a gateway to seizing the opportunities of additive digital manufacturing. Rantastic opens a window for Adidas on the world of the sport experience of users. The app tracks the entire physical efforts and experience of users when training, whether they use specific equipment, such as a bicycle, or not, essentially offering Adidas data rather than a vehicle channeling brand advertising. The acquisition of Runtastic is a highly significant example of the company's capacity to grasp the opportunities unlocked by the digital transformation. By comprehensively tracking the sports habits of its 70 million users, the app is able to acquire and deliver an immense amount of information. The app offers significant insights into the behavior of individual sport enthusiasts, such as how much they run, how fast they run, how often they run, where they run, on what terrains, on what slopes, and so on. Adidas has thus embraced the potential of big data, acquiring the key to enormous amount of records on the behavior of both its existing and potential customers, which are indispensable for the highly accurate and detailed mapping of the use of its products in the sport experience of its users. The information acquired will enable the integration of the data into the production and distribution model, opening up the prospect of producing shoes that are completely and entirely tailor-made to fit the foot and type of sports of each individual user. Such a prospect goes beyond the possibility of selling shoes in customized colors or personalized with the logo of the customer. The potential to achieve and deliver such precision in industrially manufactured goods constitutes one of the biggest opportunities, arguably the greatest, of the digital transformation applied to goods. It shows how before addressing the transformation in technological terms, it needs to be analyzed and studied in strategic terms by understanding the impact of the digital transformation on people. Grasping the essence of the digital transformation and identifying the direction in which to look to understand what action to take helps us appreciate how necessary it is for all players to take responsibility for developing forward-looking and wide-ranging vision, adopting innovative cooperation models that enable local territories to partake fully in the opportunities of the digital challenge.